Hey everyone, so today we're going to be covering a past paper question where we have to find a perpendicular line when we're given the details of a straight line. So question 12 says that the straight line L has equation 2y is equal to 3x minus 7. Find an equation of the straight line perpendicular to L that passes through 6 minus 5. 6 minus 5 are just x and y values, and that is the question. So where do we go from here? So two things I thought were really important with answering this question are these. So the fact that a straight line is in the format y is equal to mx plus c, that's going to be good to know because we're going to have to find the equation of the straight line that's perpendicular. And next is that perpendicular gradients multiply to equal minus 1. So m1, m2, they are the gradients. And if you don't know y is equal to mx plus c, the y and x are values that will be put in. M is the gradient and C is a constant, so it's just a number. So the first thing we should do is take the gradient of the original line. So we can see 2y is equal to 3x minus 7, but that's in the wrong form. So we want it in the form y is equal to mx plus c. So to get y by itself, we divide both sides by 2. So we get y is equal to 3 over 2 times x minus 7 over 2. But we're only interested in m anyway, which is the gradient. So m1 is equal to 3 over 2. Sorry it's a bit bunched up in there, but I kind of ran out of room when making the video. So now we know m1 is equal to 3 over 2. We know this times m2 is equal to minus 1. So that leaves us with one unknown. So you can see we've got 3 over 2 times m2 is equal to minus 1 because we're just using that perpendicular rule. So times in by 2 and divided by 3, we get m2 is equal to minus 2 over 3. So we know our perpendicular line is going to be in the formula of y is equal to minus 2 over 3x plus c because we know it's gradient, but we don't know c yet. So if we want to work out c, we can just put in the points or the x and y values at any point along the line, and we know the x and y values where it crosses the original line, so we can just use those values because they are on the line, if that makes sense. They're on both the lines because it's where they meet. Hopefully that makes sense. So we're going to use the x and y values of 6 and minus 5. So minus 5 is equal to minus 2 over 3 times 6 plus c. Simplifying that down a bit, minus 5 is equal to 4 plus c because we've got 6 times 2, which is 12, divided by 3 is 4. But it's a minus, so we got a minus 4. Then all we need to do from there is we need to add the 4 to both sides. So we get c is equal to minus 1. So now we know that c is equal to minus 1. We've got y is equal to minus 2 over 3x minus 1. So I found this question a bit more like there's a lot of kind of like tweaks and little parts to it. So I feel like it could be quite easy to go wrong. There's a few things you got to remember there. You got to remember getting y in the right format at the start. You got to remember that gradient rule. And just you got to be careful when you're substituting stuff in and multiplying. So hopefully that made sense. Hopefully you have a better understanding of finding a perpendicular line. If you do have any comments or questions, you can drop them below. Best of luck with all your maths and thanks for watching.